So how does the booking process go with me? Hey there, I'm Gemma Lane and I am a full service sexy worker in Victoria, Australia. Here the work is decriminalised finally, which is amazing, but there's still like a long way to go. So I only accept communication by text. I do have an email account, I forget to check it. I'm bad enough to keep up with my texts. I generally won't accept phone calls, as if I accept phone calls from guys, half the time they're trying to, get themselves off, or they try and manipulate and say I said something that I would offer, which I would not have done. So I like to keep the written communication. It's also hard enough to keep up with all the text messages, let alone answering phone calls as well. And if you're trying to book a worker, make sure you clarify by reading their ad if they prefer text or phone calls, because some do prefer a phone call over texting. For me, texting's definitely better. Sometimes I can take a while to reply, so if I haven't replied to you, then try again another time. But I'll have some conversations back and forth, usually within 2 or 3, 5 messages max. We've determined that I'm going to accept a booking from this person, and I am attuned or paying attention to the messages and how polite the person is and how confident they seem that they're going to turn up, and that helps me feel more confident that they're going to turn up. That's usually my main concern nowadays. I'm not really concerned about being hurt so much. It's more if the client I book is going to be genuine and turn up. So that initial conversation we have is usually the client saying what kind of service he's after and what time, date, that would suit them, and sort of clarifying that I can offer the service they're after, or they're interested in the service that I offer, that they've got the money. There's a lot of language that we workers become highly attuned to, so sometimes a layperson, a person not in the industry, reading the replies would think it's polite and that there's nothing wrong with that message, but we can spot the red flags fairly easily after a little while in the industry, because we're answering often hundreds if not thousands of messages a week. And so you learn to associate what sort of language pattern matches sort of specific types of clients. So when the booking's been accepted and all that stuff, and they've got my address and the time and they're on their way, it's really good. Most guys turn up really good time, on time for S work. Yeah, they don't often stuff around with the time. And when they turn up, I try, hopefully, to keep things quite natural and normal as possible in an abnormal situation. When I welcome them in, I might give them a hug and a kiss on the cheek or something, or a hey, how you going, and a little bit of ice breaking, and they go, yeah, let's just get the money out the way, otherwise I'm probably going to forget at the end, so we'll get it at the start. I say this often, but it's true. Like with new clients, I don't fully trust that they're going to pay me at the end, so I'll definitely get money at the up front. And then clients that I do have an established connection and long-term, working relationship with, if I don't get the money at the start, I am very likely to forget by the end, and they could potentially forget by the end, and it'd be a genuine mistake. And I'm sure they would still pay me when they realised. But it may still get forgotten about, and it's easier to get it at the start. And I have had 1 or 2 clients in the past whose pay hadn't gone in, even though I'd gone to their place for an alcohol. And it was a long drive, so while I was there, I decided to go ahead with it and trust they would pay me, and they never paid me. So unfortunately, trust doesn't go very far in this industry. So anyway, once the money's out the way, you usually have a little chat about, like, sort of romantically. My health checks, I do them, but they're quite discreet. I don't sort of do it clinically like in I hear establishments do. In establishments, you kind of get out the torch and have a close look at the bits, checking all that stuff out sort of subtly as we are taking off the gear and getting into the act, because thankfully for me, I've never had anyone with any issues. A friend once had friend slash colleague once had a guy turn up with lots of warts around his bits, and yeah, it got me in for a second opinion. So that's the worst one I've come across, but it wasn't my own booking. Luckily, most guys really do pride themselves on their bits. They want it to be healthy and look good and all that kind of thing. So anyway, so that does happen. I got the money, that happens, and a little, if their first time, I'm like trying to see if they can often do more than one, because this situation is a lot more intense. So even if at home or with previous girlfriends or partners, they could do multiple times in a short amount of time. In the nervous build up and everything of SW, it's not always possible to do more than one. But if the guy is very confident they can, we might have a quick one at the start, and then a massage or play in the middle, and then try a second time. If they're more confident, they're more confident that it's going to be one time, then it'll be a lot of foreplay and building up that time, like filling in the time in a fun and enjoyable way. I like to enjoy the experience just as much as the client, hopefully, as it's better both ways if we're both having a good time. Yeah, I've had many guys in the past claim they could do multiple times, really, really confident. They've booked an hour, they're like, I can do five, no one's ever done 5. But, and then they finish once and that's it. All that, horniness is done and they're ready to go. So I do try to, adjust to their body type. So pay attention, guys, to how your body often works in the situation, especially when it's a first meet with a new worker that's got the extra build up, because you've been reading the ads and perhaps doing the research and you know who you're turning up to. We most likely don't know who's turning up to us for a first book-in. So there's a lot more like excitement and anticipation and build up on your behalf, and driving to a different location and getting there. And then the finale happens and it doesn't always happen at the right time. It's either too quick, really slow and hard to get there, or can't do it at all. So sometimes I'm not sure which one's worse, not getting there at all or getting there a bit too quick. And the situation can change each time. So going with the flow, I try and think it's like a one night stand type thing or a friends with benefit type thing, while I'm there to sort of definitely prioritize the client's wants and things like that. Most of the time, most clients want me to have a good time as well. They want to make sure I've enjoyed myself and I've got, great satisfaction out of the experience as well. And that is really good, because I don't need to waste time with guys that don't give a shit about whether I have a good time or not, because there's so many that do care. So now I'm 8 minutes in, so hopefully I answered that well enough. If I've missed anything, let me know in the comments, or if you've got any questions for me, ask me. I welcome curiosity. And if you're gonna book a spicy worker, then hopefully this makes it a little bit easier.